Now, don't get me wrong, all right? I don't want to see a game fail, but I will say that all of the bad shit about New World is really fucking hilarious.
I don't know what exactly I'm going to call this video or where I'm going to go with it, but I did just want to talk about New World for a little while. Just vomit some opinions out, just talk about some facts, some figures, and just a retrospective as what I thought was going to happen with New World and where we currently are. And bear in mind, this is coming from somebody who's not played the game in, I think, over a month and a half at this point. I stopped logging on. I just couldn't be bothered anymore. Seeing where the game was going, seeing the issues.
Who plays this shit anymore, man?
It defied my expectations, and I'm someone who, if you followed my channel since 2019, I've been making videos very critical of New World, talking about how the game wasn't ready for release back then, and I still share that same opinion. The game was never ready.
When do you guys think that they're just gonna call it and say New World's done?
Ready for launch, and we've seen now.
It just depends on how much money they make. You know what I mean?
A big mistake. And I'm going to look at some numbers with you here. This is something that somebody on Reddit put together. It's called MMO Launch Q1.
Oh, shit.
And it's basically the percentage of peak concurrent users on the Steam platform during the first quarter. So the
all right, hold on, let's look. So day one, obviously, you know, the highest, and it keeps going down. Bless Unleashed. Yo, what the fuck are these metrics, dude? This is like vomit. This is like shit. This is like a bag of shit on fire. This is like a fucking bucket of horse manure. Hey, I kind of like solo, but you know, whatever. Albion Online, free to play. This is, oh, whatever, okay.
First 90 days of their launch. Now, this has got on there, Albion Online on their free to play. Solo, Swords of Legends Online, worst MMO name ever, worst game name ever, Arcade Unchained, Phantasy Star Online 2, Bless Unleashed, and New World. So it's not exactly like they're in, you know, great company here. New World is quite easily there, the largest.
Yeah, I actually enjoy Swords.
Mile.
Yeah,
and
I actually like it.
I could clickbait this. These results will shock you. You really will be shocked by just how bad New World is actually done.
So this guy's a New World content creator. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I recognize his avatar. Yeah, and the name from like New World shit. So he's played quite a bit of New World.
So as you can see from the graph here, PSO2, Arcade Unchained, and Albion Online did the best. And they were like 40%, 30, 40%. And that's obviously, you know, what you'd expect for about the norm after 90 days. Typically, MMOs release, they have their peak, and then they just gradually go down. And hopefully somewhere along the way, they eventually get into their stride and they start going back up, or they just completely fail. Now, if I was to tell you that Bless Unleashed, yes, Bless Unleashed, had better player retention over 90 days than...
Okay.
New World, you wouldn't believe me if you didn't have the stats right in front of your eyes. You just wouldn't believe me, because I wouldn't believe you if you told me that as somebody who played Bless Unleashed.
Damn, dude, Swords of Legends is fucking dead, dude. It's more dead than New World. What the fuck happened with that game, man? When they came out with the beta, man, I was like really hyped about it. It was fun. The game was fun. Did they just not add anything?
And also knows that the majority of the Bless Unleashed player base was actually Chinese and not Western. And the reason I mention that is not because Chinese numbers don't count, although in certain cases they don't. But Steam player numbers definitely count, because they're not being fudged in any kind of way. The reason I mention that is because during the release of Bless Unleashed, that was when the law came out and changed in China that stopped people being able to play video games over a certain amount of hours per day, which obviously would have impacted the player numbers of Bless Unleashed, since the majority of that percentage of player base was in China. So the fact that with that information, with that massive detriment to their player base, they still had more player retention than New World, a game that cost hundreds of millions of dollars and had like a 5+ year development cycle from one of the richest companies in the world, is fucking crazy. And then when you compare that New World only just beat out Swords of Legends Online, a game that came from China, that is run by Gameforge and doesn't run very well. It's just like a port that nobody really cared about all too much. It's just real bad times, guys. It's just really bad times. And then obviously this comes with a...
It just perplexes me how Amazon, with all of their resources and time, they can pretty much just do whatever the fuck they want, right? Everyone expected this game to be super good because it came from like one of the richest companies, right? Like, how do you fuck that up so bad? Game dev is not that easy. No, you just hire people. You know what you can do to make it easy? You hire people that know what the fuck they're doing. Money solves like every fucking problem. Oh, that's cool. You're a fucking dev over there. How about we just pay you like double and you come over here and you make a game? Money solves everything. I don't buy that shit. Look, man, look. I know nothing about making a game. I'm not smart enough to make a game, okay? But there are good games. God of War, Final Fantasy. It is possible to make a good game, okay? And I'm pretty sure that Amazon has enough money to make a good fucking game.
Headline
so the
as
whole
well, where
games are
people
hard to
saying
make is just
the ability
bullshit.
to see New World population has been disabled in the new patch. Thread discussing this has been deleted on the New World forums. Now, obviously, there are a couple ways to talk about and look at this, and it really depends on whether or not you want to be, I guess, lenient towards the company or not. You can definitely just throw them to the wolves here and just say they're censoring people. This change is actually bad for the players that still remain. And you're absolutely right. You're 100% right. That is the case. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be censoring people talking about them doing this. But as a company, what do you expect them to do? It's basically saying water is wet at this point.
If anything, people should be more strict on Amazon than lenient. They should be way more strict.
If you leave in a feature that allows for people to see your game just consistently dying and see that all the servers are having population problems.
Look at this status.
And then allow people to talk about this, obviously that's just going to continue to perpetuate that narrative that the game is dying. And the reason that this is a little bit of a weird one for me is that you can still log on SteamDB, you can still log on Steam charts, anything that has API access to Steam's own data metrics. You can see that New World's population is going down every single day. There's not been an uptrend at all, and I don't think...
Do you think that Amazon went into this like overconfident and cocky? Because I do. I think they went into this, they're like, yeah, fuck it, we're Amazon. We can, we'll just put out whatever miserable pile of shit and people are going to fucking play it. I think that they went into this way overconfident. I don't know if you followed their Twitter very much, but the person in charge of their Twitter and the direction that they went, they started off extremely cocky and they said some really stupid shit when they should have been humble because this was a new game. Not, oh, well, we're Amazon. You know what I'm saying? That was my very first impression of them.
I think there is going to be, for a long while, if ever, they're definitely going to have to do something drastic to pull this game out.
They did really have a good understanding of what they wanted the game to be. I don't think so, because the original for the game was supposed to be PvP, and then when everyone was like, no, that's a fucking horrible idea, they had to shift their focus. So now they had the PvP game, but they removed the PvP. Oh, you mean didn't? Oh, yeah, well, I agree with you. I think that they were like, man, this is a cool idea. They thought they knew what they wanted to do, but they didn't. They didn't know what the players wanted. They didn't know what the players were going to play. The first idea that they had was just garbage.
Out of the bogs that it's currently in. So they've basically removed here a feature that had tangible benefit to the current player base, because let's say you still play New World, which if you do, my condolences, and you want to play on a server that is populated. You previously could log on this website called newworlddatabase.info server status, and you could see what servers had the most player population and transfer to that server. And then you could obviously go to a server that is more populated instead of one that's dead, that you can't.
Holy shit, they only have 46,000 players online in the world. They only have 15,000 US players.
Currently probably on. So the fact that the New World devs removed this is removing an actual feature that helps their current player base still.
Yeah, that doesn't count
obviously
for, or that does account for bots.
But again, I can't really blame them all too much, because they're trying at this point to just fucking stem the bleeding. And unfortunately, it's not really working out too well, because every time something like this happens, it's just more fuel for the fire. And we all know New World needs no more fuel on that absolute raging inferno, because the game's just been absolutely fucked into the ground by their own... It's their own fault, People can blame content creators. They can blame people that make negative videos about New World. But at the end of the day, for somebody to make a negative video about New World, the reasons to make the video still have to exist, which we have no control over. Like something being bad and something bad
I know
happening,
Josh
and
got
then
some
somebody-
shit for
and
making
blaming
negative
the person,
videos, but his
pointing at the
videos
bad
weren't
thing and
negative.
saying, that's bad.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt him. Those videos weren't negative, though. They were just factual. There's more concurrent players on Toontown.
Guys, you know, you're misassigning the blame there a little bit. It's 100% on the game studio. I'm not going to say the developers, because I don't know that that's the case. From what I heard, and if you go and check my video, which I will leave in the video description, my explanation on why New World sucks, they were just forced by higher ups to use technology that just wasn't fit for purpose for the game, and now they're just stuck with this legacy system that just it just doesn't work, and they've had so many problems. They've been chasing their tail for so long trying to fix these.
I knew this game was going to be shit. On the very first initial release, they said this hardcore PvP game, and there's two things there. MMO players don't want to play PvP. It is what it is. They don't. Every PvP MMO, it fails. It sucks. Every single one. MMO players are pussy Care Bears, and they want to do PvE. Myself included for the most part. I used to enjoy PvP back in the day, but the mentality's different now. Back in Xbox 360 days, when you could send hateful messages over, you know, back in those days, PvP was insane because you could say a bunch of shit and you know, no one's feelings got hurt. It was insane. It was fun. But nowadays, no, you can't do that anymore. You can't. You just can't. It's not the same, man. People don't want to play a game where they get completely shit on and then added a message to the get fucked club. You know what I mean? BDO and Blade and Soul doing fine. If you think that those games are doing, I disagree. I don't think that they're doing fine. I don't think so. I think they got low pop, but you know, whatever.
And they just
when I think of successful MMOs, I do not think of Blade and Soul and Black Desert. Successful MMOs that I want to like be a part of and shit, those are not those games. I would not play those games, but that's me.
Launched the game way too early. They've been doing some really cool stuff, like the developer roundtables they do, where they sit and talk to their community in an unfiltered fashion for like 30 minutes up to like 2 hours. I really like those. I think they're really good, and it shows a step in the right direction of communication. But if you're doing that and then at the same time removing features that show that your game's dying, even though people can see it with their own eyes anyway through Steam API, and then censoring people talking about it, you're basically giving with one hand and then taking with the other. And I don't know, bro. There's a no-win scenario here. And again, is this the death of New World? Maybe. Is it just going to continue going down, 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 and public sentiment just going to ignore coming back to try the game?
As long as it makes some type of money, it'll still be around.
They still keep making updates that just don't make a lot of sense to me, and that, in my opinion, don't make the game fundamentally better to the point where I'd want to go back and play it. But maybe they'll catch some other people. And realistically, we've seen some MMOs pull out of the nosedive, right? Albion Online, it launched, it didn't do very well. They swapped to a free-to-play model from a buy-to-play model.
Okay, I gotta go. All right, I'm sorry, I gotta cut the react short. I tried to squeeze it in, but I can't. It's too thick. Let's rewind it just a little bit.
And realistically, we've seen some MMOs pull out of the nosedive, right? Albion Online, it launched, it didn't do very well. They swapped to a free-to-play model from a buy-to-play model. And the game is now one of the most populated MMOs out there, despite people ignoring it quite a lot.
Albion Online, really? Let's see. The Fantasy Sandbox. Have you guys played this? Yeah, it's hot garbage. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I've never heard of it before. Oh, yo, you know what, dude? Yo, no. I got a sponsorship for this shit. Yeah, a while ago, I got a sponsorship for this shit, but I turned it down because it's way too cartoony for me. I think the game looks like shit. I'm not saying it plays like shit. I'm just saying, like, I never heard of it before. I actually turned down a sponsorship for this. They designed it to be mobile accessible. Yeah, okay, well, that makes sense, yeah. Okay, let me rephrase. I'm not trying to say that the graphics look like shit. It's just way too cartoony for me. I'm not saying that the graphics are not appealing. I'm sure people do like this style. I'm just saying it's not for me. Okay.
RuneScape obviously swapped to systems that people didn't like, and then old school RuneScape came in, and look at how old school RuneScape is now. You've got Final Fantasy XIV, literally one of the worst MMO launches ever.
Yes.
And absolutely just pulled out that nosedive with a brand new game, something that I don't think will be afforded to New World. I think if that was the case, they'll probably just cut their losses on this one. Elder Scrolls.
He brought up a good point, and I was actually going to ask this question to you guys. Do you think that it is possible that New World could do what Final Fantasy XIV did? My answer to that question is I do think it's possible, but I don't think that they want to put in the time and effort to make that happen. I don't think that they have the mentality to do it. And honestly, I don't know who developed this game, but the direction that this game went, the people that wanted to take the game in that direction had no fucking idea where to go. They had one idea that was bad from the get-go, and then when they got community feedback, they just fucked it up. It would surprise me greatly if this game actually were to get better. And the funny thing is, man, is I've never actually played this game. I've never played this fucking game. I've only watched streams, watched videos, so I technically don't know 100% if I wouldn't like it, but I am 99 point a bunch of 9% that I wouldn't. Like basically with all of the glitches, with all of the exploits, with everything, my idea of this game has been completely tarnished. I cannot take this game seriously. I think that the people still playing this game are absolutely wasting their fucking time. And I feel sorry for them because it's obvious that they do not give a shit about this fucking game.
Scrolls Online, obviously having some problems at the moment due to the game just not working very well and lag problems, etc. But if you looked at the player population of that game when it launched and the player population now, it's inarguably in a much, much better state. And then on the flip side, you have other games that were titans that are currently on their descent into madness with World of Warcraft. So it's not like it's impossible to pull out, and they have the talent. They're still hiring people, by the way. I've on good authority that they're still paying top dollar to bring in top talent into the studio. So I don't think this is the end for New World, but I don't know, bro. It does look really bad. So as someone who talked about New World for a long time and kept telling people it's not ready for launch, it's going to do badly, it's going to have like a big peak of players because it's a new MMO by a big Western company and it's very nice to look at and the big marketing reach, I knew New World was going to do well in the short term. But you can go back and check from 2019 when I was making videos about New World, 2020 all the way through to 2021. I said it repeatedly over and over again. This game in the medium term is going to absolutely fucking nosedive because the game's just not anywhere near being ready. It's like another 2 years of development away from being a competent product. If they can fix the problems that they have with the actual underlying tech concerns, which are literally baked into the engine, which, you know, that is a very big question mark. And honestly, looking at social media,
they started off as a sandbox MMO, right? This game tried to put more theme park MMO like aspects into it, correct? Yeah, it was supposed to be PvP from the beginning. Because people were like, no, this is fucking horrible. No one's going to play this shit. Like, no one is going to play a hardcore PvP MMO. Like, dude, it's not going to fucking happen, man. It's not. You will have some players, yeah, but I mean, like, it's going to be a dead fucking game. And then they were like, oh shit, okay, well, then we're going to change some stuff. But the problem is that they were already too deep in. They already committed too much to the PvP model or PvP aspect or whatever that they wanted to do. So then they had to add in a bunch of like last minute PvE aspects, and that there's a couple problems with that. One, they were extremely shallow, right? Like you fight the same mobs throughout the whole game. They all have the same mechanics. Two, there's not very many of that shit. What is there, like 6 or 7 dungeons in the whole game? And like the boss fights, they're like trash, right? A PvE MMO, you have to have a lot of content in it, man. You have to. Because you're going to have these players that just fucking poop socket and go rush to the end, you know? Now, I don't know how much they've updated this game. I did see they had a couple updates. Actually, I saw that their January update released more bugs. Now, I don't know exactly the details of those bugs, but I have heard from quite a few people and also like different articles and forums and shit that they've released a lot of bugs with their newest patch. I knew this game was going to fail right from the beta. I was watching my friend Violent and Arthur's. I was watching them play it, and because I actually had planned to play it with them, but then I was watching them and I was eating, I remember. And I like was talking to him in Discord and I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this shit, guys. I'm not playing this shit, dude. There's no way, man.
There's a lot of people that really hate New World, and I do mean hate, not just dislike. They want to see it fail, and they want to see Amazon Game Studios fail. I understand.
I'm glad he brought that up. I'm glad he pointed that out because I have never wanted to see this game fail. I think all of the failings of this game are funny, but I never want to see a game fail. It always sucks when a game fails because that means that players are disappointed. Players have wasted their time. And I know that there are some people that truly did like this game just based on all these different, you know, content creator reactions, based on forums, based on all the shit. It just really feels like that Amazon just doesn't give a shit. So like, it makes me feel bad for players that really invested a lot of time in this game because the company that makes this game, they don't care about the game and they don't care about you. Like if they don't care about the game, they sure as fuck don't care about you. So yeah.
And to an extent, and the reason that they have this opinion is because Amazon bad. And yeah, there is definitely a point to be made there. I personally don't believe that a big Western company spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build out an MMO and having it subsequently fail in a very drastic fashion is good for the genre. I don't think it's good for the industry, and I think that would dissuade other companies from potentially doing the same thing. And while I do think you can make a point that bigger companies coming in won't have your best interests at heart, because of course they're profit driven, they are businesses for that reason, that doesn't mean they won't necessarily make strides in the genre, or at least make games that some people will enjoy and enrich the pool from which we can pick to play. So I don't think hoping for the failure of New World is good. I don't think it's going to do anyone any favors.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
While
I agree with him.
Schadenfreude, it's just not really where we should be at, in my opinion. Hopefully New World can pull it out. It seems like they are putting in the work to try. But looking at the stats when you actually see them on screen, it's very illuminating. New World has been, in my opinion, an abject failure. And you can definitely say, 70,000 people concurrent per day is not a failure. The game's not dead. But when you compare that to where it was, where the expectations were...
The game is essentially dead though, right? And again, correct me if I'm wrong. This game is supposed to be about factions. It's supposed to be about PvP. Like, you have to have X amount of players to PvP, right? This isn't just like a PvE game where you can just have like 50,000 players and all you do is PvE shit and queue up, right? You actually have to have not only players, but players on a specific side. That's how the game works, right? If that's the case, there was another video, I'm pretty sure it was Josh's video actually, where he went through the different servers, and some servers had 5 players on them. Now, I don't know if they have condensed those servers or not, but imagine being on a server, a game with PvP in it, with 10 people. The server I played on has like 15. Yeah, I think it's already dead, but...
How much money they've spent, how much marketing they have, that is a failure, in my opinion. And it probably financially will be as well, at least in the medium term. So good luck to them, but that's New World for now. Thank you very much. See you next time. Stay safe. We're out. Peace.